Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube video. This is Dr. Song. Today we have week 7, and then today I'd like to show you how can you choose the proper inferential statistics according to your research questions. So your hypothesis research questions in the quantitative research method that indicate which inferential statistic you can choose to produce the result significance level of the p, and then you can say that we can reject our null hypothesis, and then we can accept our alternative hypothesis. So for that, you have to know the type of a variable first, and then based on your research questions, you will proceed with the proper inferential statistics. So, as usual, my course is based on the three quantitative research method course in the University of Ottawa. So, these are the professor's name. So, let's see the first research question here. Is there a relationship between the social media platform preference? So, the variable is Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. There are three different groups. So, we can consider this is a nominal variable, and the gender is a woman and man. That is dichotomous nominal variable again. So if we want to know if there is a relationship between the platform, social media platform, and the gender, you will proceed with the chi-square because they are both of them are nominal variables. So when you are dependent, independent, in this case, there is no difference between independent and dependent in the chi-square. So between the two variables, you want to know the relationship. And if they are the nominal or ordinal variables, they are not the continuous variables. There is no more doubt. You can proceed with the chi-square. Another research question, is there a relationship between the temperature at degree Celsius and then ice cream sales? So that both of them, they are the continuous variable. Temperature is a number, pure numbers from the including zero. So that is an interval ratio. And then the ice cream sales, that is the ratio. So there is a more than zero, you have the value of the dollars. So in this case, you will proceed with the correlation or regression. But the difference between the correlation and the regression, if your independent variable can predict your dependent variable, in this case, you will proceed with the regression. But in this case, there is just the relationship between the two variables. So there is no difference between the independent and dependent. And then in this case, you can proceed with the correlations. But anyway, correlation is the preliminary analysis in order to proceed with regression. So you are obliged to proceed with the first the correlation if we want to opt for regression test. So that is the basic procedure for regression. So in this case, it's a correlation. And now, is there a relationship between the length of time someone spends on the website in minutes? So these are the continuous variables. And then how much money they spend, and that is also continuous variables. So if there is just the relationship, and then you can proceed with the correlation. But as I said before, if we want to predict the one dependent variable, so let's assume the how much money spent, that is a dependent variable, and then the independent variable will be the time someone spent on the website, and then you can proceed with the regression test. So your time, how much you spend on website, that will predict how much money you spend. In that case, that will be the regression test. Does customer satisfaction 1 to 7 influence the spending? This is the Likert scale. So scale variable is also we consider as a continuous variable. So between the two continuous variable, you have an option that is the correlation or the regression. However, when you say the influence, that means the almost the same synonym of the predict. So the satisfaction that can predict the spending amount. In that case, this is the regression test. Is there a relationship between the height and then weight? So that is just the between the two physical situations, like the height and then the weight. So that is just the correlation. But if you say that if the height predict the weight, but in fact there is no sense. So in this case, I think that it's only the correlation is possible. And then research question, does study time in hours predict CMN 3102 students' grades on their midterm? So this one, you can see the hours, that is a continuous variable. And then also grade, the percentage, that is also continuous variable. So, and also you have the word predict. That means that is a independent variable is a study time. And the dependent variable is the student's grade. So you will proceed with the regression test. Which test should you run? So did people who saw the political advertisement A donate a different amount of dollars to the party than people who saw political advertising B? So this one you compare between the two. So the one group is the people who saw the political advertising A, and then the other people saw the political advertising B. In this case, there are two different groups, A and B, and you want to compare their how much amount they gave from the A group and the B group. You want to compare their average amount of the dollars. So in this case, you will proceed with the independent t-test because they have the group A and B, different groups. You want to compare their contribution amount. So that is an independent t-test. Did people give different donation to their political party of choice in the 2015 Canadian federal election compared to the 2019 election? So in this case, your group is the same. It's not like advertising A, advertising B. The people who saw in the different advertising. They are the same people, but in the different time. In the 2015 and 2019, so in this case, you will proceed with the paired t-test because you are in fact comparing from the same people how much they gave the money in the different time. So this is not the independent t-test; it's a paired t-test. So that you can see that when you opt for the t-test, you have to have the independent variable is A and B, only the two groups in the nominal variable. Dependent variable is the continuous variable. But this is for the independent t-test. But about the dependent t-test, that is a paired t-test. In that case, you don't have the independent variable is the different groups. I mean, different two groups. You have only the same group, but you are comparing only the amount or the amount of time or amount of dollars these two groups gave in the different times. So these are the big difference between the independent t-test and then the paired t-test, paired dependent t-test. Is there an association between the hours of studying each week and then course grades? So that is also the between the hour of study, that is the continuous variable, and then also course grade, that is a continuous variable. So these are the correlations. And then you can also do a regression if you say that one variable predicted the other variable. Do men report spending more on Amazon than women? This you can see that depending on the gender, how much they spend on Amazon. So this is the independent t-test. Is there a difference between the weight before and after participating in a diet? In this case, they are the same group. So your independent variable will not be the different groups. So you are just comparing the before and after diet program. So this is a different time. In this case, you will proceed with the dependent t-test. That is a paired dependent t-test. And then is there a relationship between student midterm A grade and then their midterm 2 grade? So this is also, it's the same students, but they have the midterm 1 and the midterm 2. So in this case, you will compare between the two different time, the scores of the different time. So you will proceed with the dependent t-test. And then is there an association between the student's preference for the online or face-to-face instruction? So there are the two groups, online, preference about the online and the preference about the face-to-face, and their education level. So undergraduate or graduate. In this case, you have the one variable with the online and face-to-face, and then the other variable is the undergraduate or graduate. In this case, your both variables are nominal variables with the two groups. So you have to proceed with the chi-square test. There is no continuous variable here. Does studying hours predict the test anxiety? In this case, it's very clearly your studying hours, that is the independent variable. Your dependent variable is the anxiety. So the predict means that you should opt for the regression test. Your independent variable will be the studying hours that predict how much anxiety they have. Their dependent variable is anxiety. So these are the video for today, and then maybe you could grasp the kind of idea how you can opt for the inferential statistics depending on your research questions and then your types of variables. Thank you so much for watching the video, and then I will see you next time.